I am, I, I'm convinced that unfortunately Europe doesn't have a unified market and will never be able to beat the Americans or the Israelis on certain um, startup plays. And which plays are these? SaaS, e-commerce. I really believe the only way for us to, I'm not trying to beat the Americans or beat the Israelis, but at least compete with them is on something that Europe is good at is R&D, innovation, research. What are we not good at? Intrinsically is we don't have a unified market, and there's way too much taxes on capital in Europe to have a lot of capital. And so my mind was very simple. It was like Europe is good at what? Applied science, research, R&D. Okay, let's find those little nuggets and then let's send them to the US. It's like biotech, right? Biotech, I think a lot of successful European biotech, they start in Europe, they all leave to the US. And so, a lot of people say, what about the thesis? Honestly, to me, it's just a natural thesis. If we want to make money, the drive is not just to make money, but the drive is to create generational companies. But if we want to create generational companies, make money for investors, make money for the employees of our startups, for me, it was just the only and natural way to do it. So yes, the US market is a lot more powerful. Yes, the US market, more money, more entrepreneurs, more exits. But I'm not trying to compete with the Americans. I'm trying to find this niche of European deep tech in the US. And so that's why also, to answer your earlier question, is do I see myself as a $5 billion fund? With my current thesis? No. But with this thesis, I think I can easily be a 500 million, 700 million fund that repeats this every 4 to 7 years.
So, I mean, essentially, the bottom line is like the two are complementary for you. You find like the great companies, and you essentially help them to open on a much larger market, more unified, etc., etc.
Yeah, had I been, had I stayed in New York, had I been, worked in a VC in New York, it probably would have been better San Francisco. But anyways, I wouldn't have given the light of day to Europe. It's just that I'm based here, I'm not going to shit on Europe. We have something good here. How do you make the most of it?
Yeah, no, makes sense. And so interestingly, so you put Israel on the same side as the US, but Israel is a tiny country. So
I,
why do you put?
I put them in, well, because it's kind of the 51st state of the United States, tech wise. And I think, I put them because they're the most successful location after California. But what's the mindset of Israel is such a tiny country, it's probably 10 million people. And so a lot of the startups there, they don't even cater to the local market. They cater to the US. And so they've had this obsession for 20 years to a point now where a lot of those Americans unicorns are Israeli company. And so when you're an Israeli startup, you have access to this local ecosystem that's just massive. And so there's a lot of money there. Everyone is focused on going to the US. I think it's a good curse of a small country. I think you see similar mindset in countries like Sweden, for example. Sweden is giving you Spotify, Lovable. There's a lot of startup coming out of Sweden. Why? The country is so small, they don't even cater to the local market. You see that a bit with Netherlands. The problem with a country like France or Germany or UK is each country is about 70 to 80 million people. They think that size is enough to produce unicorns. And so a lot of times you end up building very German or very English, very French businesses that just don't scale and don't achieve those valuations. I think England is lucky because they speak English. And so naturally, their products cater more to the world, but it's still this mindset, but it's changing. It's definitely changing. Compared to, I came to Europe in 2017. Investors pushed entrepreneurs to say, first win your local market and then expand international. It's flipped now. It's like, do not focus on your home market, focus on the US, focus on the world.